Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to your channel Learn Data Science with Pranjal. So in this knowledge video, I would be discussing a different algorithm which I have not discussed in my previous knowledge videos. So in previous knowledge videos, I have already covered the topics like your regression, logistic regression, and all the classification methodologies, whether it's decision tree, random forest, SVM. I have also covered feature selection. I have also covered DB scan, PCA, K-means. All those algorithms I've already covered, and the people have been in some comments on the channel have been asking to put some videos on the time series probably. So what I've decided to combine the time series along with RNN, so that is your recurrent neural network, and I would be using a variant of RNN, that is your LSTM, long short term memory, in this video. And the data set which I have taken in this example would be is a very hot topic of these days, that is your COVID data. So actually they're creating time series model or any RNN model on the COVID data was not possible till now, because these models are very data hungry. Till the time you have a huge data, you cannot probably create the RNN models or even your ARIMA models and time series model, because you need to have the data for at least 100 to 100 previous time intervals. But now, since if we talk after March, and in this data which I am having, or which I would be using, is I am specifically using the data of India, and from the May onwards data I am using, wherein the cases probably started to have some significant presence in our country. So I would be doing the prediction using three different methodologies. So one of the methodologies, maybe others are also familiar if they have seen my post on the LinkedIn. So I have done the prediction on the early in the on the 7th of June using the May data, and I have done the prediction till the October month and probably till the November and December month also. So I would be discussing that methodology also, and why? Because the data points which I have used in the at previous prediction are still holding true. So I would be discussing what was the methodology which I used in on June 7th to do the prediction. And then I have created this model. So I'm posting the video on 9th of September, but the data point I have taken is still 5th of September. So, and I would be doing the prediction till for the next 50 days. And let's say, and only the time will tell whether these predictions will go right or wrong. But in this knowledge video, we would be seeing number of other things also, the different ways in which we can some add-on parameters in our matplotlib, color coding based upon the numbers also, those small topics. But I would be, the main focus area would be our RNN, LSTM and ARIMA model. So let's get started. I will start with the methodology which I have used on 7th June, and then we will discuss our RNN, and then we will discuss our ARIMA. So in the starting week of the June, when the data points were very less, so building the RNN and ARIMA model was not possible. So what I have done is I have manually collected. So these are the data points. So, and you can see the dates. So this M18, M19, M20, these are the dates. So that this M18 stands for your May 18, M19 for your May 19, and similarly this J7 goes till your June 7. The formula which I am using to do the forecast is y is equal to m into e power kx. So here my one of the assumption is that this COVID virus or the COVID disease is not following a linear pattern but an exponential pattern. So if you have a linear equation like y is equal to mx plus c, then also you need 2 points to build the equation. Till the time you have 2 points, you cannot find the slope and intercept. So similarly, in my exponential equation, y is equal to m into m e power kx, I need to have 2 data points. And what I have done is I am not willing to do my daily prediction because daily numbers may fluctuate. But if we check the weekly data, so the week on week, there hasn't been a week where the numbers have gone down. So every week the numbers have been increasing. So I am trying to do the weekly predictions. So what I have done is I have taken May 18 and 24 as 1 week, and then 25 to 31st as your second week. So using these 2 weeks, what I have done is I find the value of k, and I have found the value of M also. So the value of M is 42838 and value of K is 0.2144. Now once we have the value of K and M, this is how we are going to do the prediction. So basically your June second week data would be based upon your June first week, and June third week would be based upon your June second week, and that is why I am changing the number K equal to 3, K equal to 4, K equal to 5, K equal to 6. So this is how I am doing the prediction. And then I have got the weekly count. So J2W indicates your June second week, June third week. So based upon this, I have done the number of cases per week. So these are not the cumulative cases. These are not the cumulative cases. These are the number of actual cases you would be having in every week of the every week. So if we can see that the August 4th week, so which is just around 10 days back. So according to this model, we would be getting somewhere around 6,95,000 cases. And if we see that the number of cases somewhere were close to 7 lakhs only, so we were already getting somewhere around 90 to 80,000 cases per day in the last week of August. And then what I've done is I have done a monthly prediction also. So while doing the monthly prediction, I can see the thing which worries me. So while doing the monthly prediction, the thing which worries me are these high numbers. So till August, I had said that I would be having around 35 lakh cases, which has gone right. Probably the numbers were much higher, were a bit higher also. Till September 8, I should be having around 84 lakh cases. And by October end, I should be having around 1 crore 99 lakh cases, or basically you can say 2 crore cases. And in November, my cases would be somewhere around 5 crores, and December, the cases may be around 11 crores. But it's very hard to make the prediction. So since this prediction I have done on the first week of June, so by the time I talk about November, I would have already passed June, July, August, September, October. So already 5 to 6 months would have passed. So probably my data may need to be retrained. My data need to be retrained. So I'm not very confident when I'm doing the forecast for November and December month using the June data, because the time elapsed is very high. But when I did the prediction on the June month, on the first week of June, and which the posts are also there on the LinkedIn, people can want, if they want, they can check it also. The number of cases would be somewhere around, India would be facing is somewhere around 11 crores. If the prediction if the prediction which I did on the first week of June goes right. I hope I am wrong, but that is what the prediction says. But now since I have the huge amount of data, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build recurrent neural network and LSTMs, and then I will also build my ARIMA model to see how my forecast would be done. But now I won't be doing the since LSTMs and since LSTMs and ARIMA models should not be used for doing a very huge predictions. So I will not be doing the prediction till year end, but let's say I will be doing the prediction till the next month end. So I would wish to do the prediction till 30th October using the current data which I have. So without wasting any time, let's look into a code, what code I have written for RNN and LSTM. So this is the data file which I have. So if you read this data file, so it basically has two things. It has your date and it has your count. And so if you see your head function, so the dates, so the values I have taken it's from 1st of May. So 0105. So I have ignored the values in from the April month, because the number of cases which India was showing was very less because we were in the lockdown phase and everything. So that is my assumption that those numbers are probably should not be taken. So that is why I have not taken the data prior to the 1st of May. And if you see your tail function, then you can see that I have taken the data till 5th of November. So this is a simple plot. This plot is on your actual data. So as of now, from this plot, I can see that the values are continuously increasing. So there are some intermediate, we can say that there is a bit of fall somewhere, but after the fall, again cases are increasing very heavily. and probably from the last week of and probably from the August end or the last week of August, the cases have been rising very fast. Have been rising very fast. And then what I've done is I've built one mat plot. I've done a bar plot based upon the color coding. So what I've said, if the values are less than 25, I'm marking them green. If the values are more than 25 and less than 50, I'm marking them yellow. Otherwise, I'm marking them your 75. The values are more than 50 and less than 75, I'm marking them blue. Else, I'm marking them red. So this is how it looks like. So on the x-axis, it's very messy because you cannot have so many names. So as of now, at this scenario, the currently from the last around 20 days, we can see that the number of cases are continuously above 75,000 mark. And from last around, I think 50 days, probably the cases are continuously above 50,000. So, and from this graph, we can easily say that the with every passing week, the buildings are getting higher and higher. And so there, as of now, there seems to be no sign of that curve getting flattened or even the curve getting plateaued out. So as of now, it seems to be a very high exponential growth. And so this we have seen the red boundary, which is above your 75,000. So this is where I'm building my LSTM. So for building the LSTM, so, first of all, I need to scale my data. So what I've done is I've said sklearn preprocessing, import your mini scaler. Scaler equal is from sklearn preprocessing, import your min-max scaler. Then I'm creating an instance of min-max scaler. So np.array. So COVID is the name of my data frame and count is the name of the column. I am reshaping it into -1, 1. -1 is your default, so that whenever the values are passed in any default format also, it doesn't give an error. So my data has been transformed. Then what I'm doing is from keras.preprocessing sequence, I am importing time series generator. So basically in time series model or in any ARIMA model, you do not have X and Y kind of thing. Here your Y itself is your X and X itself is like your Y. So the next day forecast is heavily dependent upon today's number. And today's number were heavily influenced by yesterday's number. So whenever you are doing any forecasting, leave aside your COVID, but let's say you are doing any forecasting for any sales or any profit forecasting. So the profit number for the next quarter would be heavily influenced by the profit which you have in the last quarter. The sales of the next day or the sales of the next week would be heavily influenced by the sales which you have previous week. So for example, let's say when a share price closes today. So while the share was closing today, it has factored in all the scenarios, all the news regarding that particular share which was available to the market players at that time. So the next day when the share opens, the today's closing price is the most important one. So the same concept is being applied in your time series data also. So I'm saying that today the numbers, the COVID numbers which I get this week will act as a base for my next week. Right. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a time series generator. So it will, based upon the number of previous intervals I'm giving, it will make a map of it. Keras.model import sequential. So sequential will identify that you are creating a sequential model. Dense indicates that I would be creating a fully connected model. LSTM is a variant of your RNN, long short-term memory, because RNN suffer from vanishing gradient descent, and LSTMs when they use the TANH technique, LSTM and using LSTM you can overcome the vanishing gradient descent problem. So I have set n input equal to 10. So which implies that when I would be doing the forecast for the 11th day, I would be looking at least 10 days behind. And features equal to 1. Why? Because we are taking just one series generator. So I'm saying now it will generate my data. So time series generator is scale data, comma scale data. Why scale data, comma scale data? Because you have just one x. So x, comma x. This x is also acting as your x variable and also as your y variable. Length is equal to and input, whatever input we would be giving, batch size equal to 1. So normally when we build our any other model, we do not pass one record at a time. We pass 32, 64 or 50 or 75 records at a time. But over here I am saying batch size equal to 1. So one record or one entry at a time I would be passing. Now I create my model equal to sequential. LSTM. So I'm using LSTM technique. 150 is a hyperparameter. It indicates how many neurons you are having in your LSTM layer. Activation equal to ReLU. So this is my activation function. And input shape, I'm saying an input and n features. So model dot dense 1. So this acts as my output layer where I'm trying to do my prediction. For compiling the model, I'm using the optimizer as Adam and loss equal to MSC. Then what I do, I fit the model. So after fitting the model, after every each step, you will get the data points. Then what I'm doing is, since I have already loaded a model and then I'm doing a prediction. So I'm doing a prediction. And when I do the sum, so for prediction also what I've done is, I have done the prediction for next 55 days. So I have done the prediction for next 55 days. Why? Because I want to do the prediction till next month end. So today I have taken the data till 5th of September. So 55 days add up to your 30th of October. So it tells me that the number of cases, number of new cases which I would be having from 5th of September till 30th of October would be 1 crore 21,000. And if you add, so as of now probably India has 42 lakh cases. So if you add 42 lakh to this 1 lakh to this 1 crore, so around 1.5 crore cases India would be seeing by 30th of October. That is what your prediction says. Right. So this is so as of now India has around 42 lakhs. And if I add this number to it, so I would be having around 1 crore 42 lakh cases. 1 crore 42 lakh cases by the October. Okay. So this is where so this completes my LSTM. Now let's build the model using ARIMA. So now the problem with ARIMA model or any traditional time series model is that they come with lot of assumptions. So the one of the assumptions in ARIMA model or probably in your any this ARMA or ARIMA model is that your time series should be stationary. So time series as in stationary, it means that your mean, your variance should be time independent. The mean and the variance should not vary with the time. So this COVID underscore count is my data frame, and from that data frame I'm selecting a column that is your count. I do my differencing. So differencing is you subtract one number from the another number. So differencing is basically one of the technique to make your series stationary. Okay. And I will post a separate video which will discuss what exactly and the details of differencing and the details of what stationarity means. But on the upper front, if I say that differencing means you subtract one element from the previous element. So over here we can see that my series is changing, but my series is still not stationary because variance is increasing. So mean has become constant. So mean, if you travel along the x-axis, the mean is almost, let's say, 0. But then variance is not 0. So I cannot say that my series has been stationary. So what I do is I take a log of it. Log has a smoothing effect. So I take a log of it. And then again I did a plot of this. So I could still see that my series was still not stationary. So what I did is I again took a log. And if I plot this thing, so after taking a log and then again I took a log and then I have taken a differencing. So after doing the differencing of the second log series, I could get this type of thing. So over here also I can, the visual says that my series has become a bit better, but it's still not 100% stationary. So now what I'm doing is, instead of using the visual technique to comment whether my data is stationary or not, what I'm doing is I'm using a numerical method, and which is a very good method and probably the best method, that is I am using my ADF test, that is your augmented Dickey-Fuller test. So import your augmented Dickey-Fuller test. So stats model.tsa, import your AD Fuller, and then what I've done is I pass log series 2. So if I pass log series 2, I get answer as something like this. So this program I have written, an individual program I have written to fetch out the values. So p value is 0.0771982. The null hypothesis in Dickey-Fuller test is that that series is not stationary, and we know that if the p value is less than 0.05, then your series is, then you probably reject your null hypothesis. The value over here is 0.07. So at 95% confidence, probably I cannot say that my series is stationary. But at 90% confidence, I need not compare with 0.05, I need to compare with zero point 0.1. So this 0.07 is less than 0.1. So at 90% confidence or at 10% error rate, I can say that this series is stationary. Why? Because if you check your original series or log series 1, if you check your log series 1, you can see that the value is 0.922, which is much higher than your 0.05 or zero point 0.1 also. So it means after taking the log, I am now bit sure that my series is stationary. Similarly, if you take the, if you do the ADF test on the original series, if you do, then you, on the original series, when I do my ADF test, you can see the value is 0.99, which is almost equal to 1. I know that p value cannot be more than 1. When the value is so high, like your when the value is around 1, it means that you still go with your null hypothesis, right? So which implies that after taking your this thing log series 2 or taking your log transformation, somehow when the values were 0.99, now they have shifted to 0.077. Okay. To build the ARIMA model, I need to know my ACF value also and PACF values also. So what I've did is I've done a plot ACF and plot PACF, import it from your stat model and do your plot. So lags equal to 20. So I am taking just 20 lags. If you want, probably you can take 30 lags, 40 lags. This is, it's like a hyperparameter. How many lags do you wish to have? So ACF plot doesn't gives me any information. Why? Because values are slowly decreasing. So ACF indicates the correlation of a time series with it. Let's take one example. So let's say there is a restaurant and the number of customers visiting the restaurant. So if probably the number of customers visiting today are 100, then you do not expect that tomorrow the number of customers visiting would be 10,000 or 1,000, because the tomorrow's number would be somewhat dependent upon today. A trend would be there. So leaving some rare scenario that suddenly a festival comes or some event comes, that yesterday's numbers would be most important to determine the next day's event. And that is what your correlation indicates. That what is going to happen today is probably being influenced by what has happened yesterday, and so that is what we are finding the correlation between different lags. So if the values fall suddenly, then we get the information, otherwise we don't get any information. In ACF, the values are slowly decreasing, so I don't get any information per se. But if I plot my PACF, then you can see that after your second lag, after your second, the values suddenly fall. So I can get my order of ARIMA. So order, that is your P, D and Q. So P stands for your AR, P, D and Q, and D stands for your differencing and Q stands for your MA. So I use the model 2, 1, 0. I fit the model, check the summary, and then I'm doing the forecast for next 50 days. Or probably if you want, we can do the forecast for next 55 days, so 5 days also. So when I'm doing the forecast for next, then I'm doing the forecast for next 55 days. And these are the numbers October end. So this tells me I would be having 1 crore 93 lakh cases, and my RNN model tells me I would be having 1 crore 42 lakh cases, and the prediction which I had done on the 7th June tells me that I would be having, again I would be having around 1 crore 99 lakh 58,000 cases. So let's see which model goes right. So two models are supporting 1 crore, two models are supporting the figures of 2 crores, and the another model is supporting the figure of around 1 crore 50 lakh cases. So the number seems to be quite high, and the human mind may not be willing to accept it, but it seems the trend which we are having, I think we would be reaching this grim target. This big grim target would be reached by the our country. I hope whatever predictions I have done, they go wrong, and they go wrong for the betterment, and not they go wrong in the this direction and not in the other direction. The numbers are not more than what these models are predicting. But even if we go on the moderate side also, all the three models are saying, all the three calculations are saying that we would be having at least 1 crore 50 lakh cases by the October end. So now only the time will tell whether which of these prediction of mine go right, or which other of them go wrong, or whether all of them go right or all of them go wrong probably. Uh, but I hope people have enjoyed this knowledge session. So wherein I've covered some different techniques in the plots also, and I have also shown you how, if you want to build your model using your RNN or LSTM. And if you want to probably use the ARIMA model also, you can get it. But soon I would be posting a separate knowledge videos on the time series, which will cover each and every granularity of the time series. So over here I've talked on the higher terms, what ARIMA is, what is AR, what is referencing, and then probably I will talking into the much detail. And similarly, in my RNN videos and LSTM videos, I would be talking in great length how to use the various ways of building our models. So thank you everyone for watching this video. And if you have liked the video, please go ahead and click on the like and subscribe button. Hope to see you soon in my next video. Till that time, happy learning. Thank you.